Hi, everybody. I just wanted to record a quick video on how to complete your assignment for drawing and shading geometric forms using pencil. So the process is pretty straightforward, but basically you are going to be taking simple geometric shapes such as circles, squares, and triangles, and by adding shading, you're going to turn them into three-dimensional forms. And the key thing to pay attention to when you are shading is that anytime you're shading, it always has a cast shadow and an inside shadow that are opposite wherever your imaginary light source is coming from. And there's either it's a smooth transition if it's curved, or if it's a square or a pyramid, it's going to have steps of value from a light highlight to a middle gray to a dark shadow. So with that, let's get into how we are going to turn these simple geometric shapes into three-dimensional forms. So you are going to need hopefully just a pencil and a pencil sharpener for this. And I'm going to start by just doing I'm going to do 4 simple shapes. I'll do 3. I'll do circle. Does not need to be perfect. If you want to use, something brown to draw a circle, that's fine too. Square. Doesn't need to be perfect. You can even use like the side of your cell phone to draw straight lines. And a triangle. So I'll use that same technique. And I'll draw a straight line. Now you only have 3 here. You are going to have to create 4. So I will actually show you how I can get 3 different forms just from the sphere. But for starters, let's start with the square and the triangle because they are the easier ones to turn. So I'm just going to take this square and just take these 3 corners and draw straight lines back. You can use your pencil as a mini ruler to kind of measure, check that they're all the same. They are. Now this is a little different. I can't do that for here, so I'm going to make a little mini triangle off to the side. Then I'm just going to fix this. Straight line down. Straight line over. Just erase the extra. And then the sphere, the reason I kind of said you can get a few out of this is the sphere, the circle is actually the basis of the cone and is the basis of the cylinder. So for this exercise, I'm going to turn it into a cylinder and a sphere. So to turn it into a cylinder, I'm going to smush it flat and try and draw 2 identical smushed circles. These are what's called ellipses or ellipse. And I'll just connect straight down and then erase this kind of extra here. So I'm left with a nice smooth cylinder. So now the only other piece of the puzzle that I need before I can turn these into 3D is like to figure out where my light bulb is going to come from. I'm going to put my light bulb like right around here, draw a little sunshine. And so that means that anywhere that's opposite that sun, there's going to be a cast shadow. So I'll start actually on this side, and I'll kind of draw an imaginary line with my pencil. And then I'll take this point and I'll just draw an imaginary line out the side. And it's roughly, it may be the same distance. It's a little And I'll do the same thing here. I'll draw an imaginary line. I'm going to draw these out. And now I can make this look like it's, so it's kind of like I've taken this little point here and I just spun it backwards and kind of have it coming out the back. So it's this and this. And then I'll just go in and press a little harder to make this as dark as I can. This is going to be the 100% darkest shadow. So making little ovals so that I don't have any pencil marks. And our, excuse me, I'll repeat that process for each one. So again, lines coming out, and then take this and kind of shrink it back. And it's okay if the shadows are a little fuzzy. Shadows are not perfectly crisp and clean, depending on what kind of light bulb you have or you're using. I'm pressing hard. I want these cast shadows to be my 90% pressure. And now I'm going to get to the sphere, and so the sphere is backwards. Everything is switched because the light is here, the shadow is going to come off this direction. But it does actually connect to the ball, or to the circle. And then this one is going to be, because the light is kind of above it, I'll make it look like the shadow is kind of coming out this direction. So now, like, because of the way the shadows are directed, you really get the sense that there's a light in one place and all this light is like coming out from that one imaginary light bulb. So then I'll kind of start with the flat surfaces again. Any side of the shape of the form that is facing away from the light, I will give a medium shadow to. So I'll kind of do this one, and I'll do this one, because they're both flat surfaces. I'm going to skip these and come back to them in a minute, because they are a little different when it's curved. And now I'm left with these kind of two surfaces. They're not facing the light. They're kind of like halfway between. So I'm going to make a lighter shade or lighter value. It's not totally light. But it's not as dark as this. I can even make this darker to kind of help illustrate my point. But there's definitely a clear dark, medium, light. And then I'll just give this little top edge, tiny bit of pressure, barely touching it, so that there's something other than just totally white space. So for the pyramid, it really only has 1, 2, 3 values, but the cube has 1, 2, 3, 4 values. So now let's get into anything curved. So if it's curved, the motion of your shading, you want to try as best you can to match the curve. So if the light is over here, I know that the shadow is coming out the other end. So I'm going to start to kind of wrap around that side. And now I'll do kind of like 1 or 2 full wraps, and then I'm kind of going to spiral, and I'm barely touching. And now I kind of back it off. So it goes, there's a dark shadow here. Then it lightly transitions to a medium, and I'm making curves that match the shape of the ball. And, you know, if I wanted to, I could turn that into a ball if I wanted to. So I'm matching the curve of this circle. The same thing is going on down here for the cylinder. The light is here, which means the darkest edge is going to be on this side, and it's going to gradually fade to like a medium gray. I'm going to kind of go dark, dark, dark. And now this shape, I'm not necessarily following the curve because it's straight up and down vertical. And I'll put a little bit of shadow there. Now I'll kind of go in and add a little curved lines towards the bottom. And I'll freckle and make this a little dark. So clearly you can tell it's two different ones. So it's dark, medium dark, fades to light. Now I'll put a little tiny kiss of shade at the top. And that is it. When you're finished with this assignment, just take a picture of it with your phone and attach it to your Google Classroom assignment under shaded geometry. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me over Google Classroom or Gmail.